You are listening to the sound of a completely new screen experience, a startling new kind of excitement. As 20th Century Fox plunges you into the most incredible adventure that man could ever achieve. To make a motion picture that crosses a new frontier may seem impossible today. Outer space, the depths of the sea, the bowels of the earth, the past, the future, all have been subjects for the camera. But now, a film called Fantastic Voyage has broken through in an unexpected direction to create an adventure of astonishing suspense and beauty.
One of the miracles of the universe.
Its vital news story sweeps down from the sky. Then it drops the bottom out of the world you know and understand. As a beleaguered nation desperate for survival launches a journey you can never erase from your memory.
We need you for security purposes, Mr. Grant. They know they failed to kill Benish. Security thinks they'll try again, first chance they get.
A woman has no place on a mission
I
of this
insist
kind.
on taking my technician.
You'll take along who I assign.
Don't tell me who I'm going to work with.
4 men and a beautiful girl, off on a fantastic voyage, actually entering inside the human body, exploring an unknown universe, unknown dangers.
They're tightening. I can't breathe.
24 seconds left.
After that, you're in danger of attack.
Come on, Doctor.
It's sheer suicide for all of us.
You are there with them, sharing a breakthrough in motion picture.
It's gone.
If you thought it was too late to discover something entirely new on the screen, Fantastic Voyage will be a stunning experience. For you are going where no man or camera has ventured before. And when you come out, you may never look at yourself in the same way again.
Give me your widest beam. Full power.
Hello there, welcome to my world of stuff. My name is Paul Mount, and I hope you're having a super fine weekend. It's Sunday, 12:30ish. I just thought I'd do another retro movie review. I've got a couple in the pipeline that I'm hoping to do, so I want to work through them, including a couple that my viewers have requested, so they're coming up soon. Stay tuned to the end of this video, by the way, for a little bit of a update regarding the channel. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. If you've just stumbled across this because you like this particular film or want to hear what I got to say about it, I do loads of stuff like this: retro film reviews, modern film reviews, unboxing, cinema visits, collectibles, all that sort of media stuff. So why not press that like button and that subscribe button, leave a comment, that would be lovely. Today's retro movie review is from 1966. It's Fantastic Voyage. One of the great classics of the 1960s science fiction era, such as it was, because science fiction was slightly in the doldrums in the 60s. You had a few films that turn up here and there. Planet of the Apes came along later on, 2001 of course, but in 66, Fantastic Voyage, which is directed by Richard Fleischer, was considered a bit of a risk. It was quite a big budget science fiction film, purely on terms of its visual effects. We're used today, of course, to films with massive visual effects sequences created by CGI, and there's nothing that cinema can't do these days. But it wasn't quite the same in the 60s. Things were a bit more physical and a bit more hands-on. If you've not seen Fantastic Voyage, then put that right immediately. It's set in, well, the story is that a defecting Russian scientist is coming over to the West with some technological information which will be of value to the West. Basically, there is a miniaturization process which has been created where people and organic and inorganic articles can be shrunk to minuscule proportions, but only for an hour. A Russian scientist has come up with a way to extend that period so that things can stay that size more or less indefinitely. He is brought over to the West, but unfortunately there's an assassination attempt by the other side, and he's left in a coma. The only way to save his life and to find out the information that's hidden in his noggin is to miniaturize a group of scientists and medical personnel to the size of a microbe, place them on board a miniaturized super sub and inject them into his bloodstream to try and clear the clot which is threatening to kill him. Sounds ludicrous? Of course it is. It's nuts. It's impossible. But it's a hell of a film. It's a classic science fiction film. And you may remember when I did my cinema tour, I had this poster. Yep, that's on my wall. Because it's a great image and it's a great idea for a film. And it's really well done. Considering it was made in 1966, it still sounds up really well. I watched it this week again on the big screen, which often I think watching old films on a big screen can sometimes betray the effects and the visuals. And in fact, to an extent it did. I think that the visuals, they look great, but there's a lot of obvious green screen stuff where there is sort of masking around the characters. However, it still looks good. It still looks really good. And what makes it work is that the story is so extraordinary and so engrossing that you get pulled in. You don't really worry about the visuals because the visuals aren't terrible by any means, but you know that if it was done today, and mercifully it hasn't been redone, it would be all bang and flash and visual overload. I think the effects are really good. I mean, the Proteus design of the Proteus submarine is iconic. It really is this fantastic sort of mini sub. And the strength of it is that they actually built a full-size prop. You see it in several scenes. And that means you can get the actors inside it. You don't have to overlay them, although there are a couple of scenes like that. You don't necessarily have to keep overlaying them because they're actually there and they can act inside this machine. And that adds a real sense of reality and, big word coming, verisimilitude to an unlikely story. And when they get injected into the scientist's bloodstream, of course, the human body does what it does when something invades it. It tries to reject it. So they're attacked by all sorts of bacteria and red blood cells, and it's not an easy trip. Things go wrong with the ship. They have to take a detour. There's one very good scene where they have to travel through his heart. But of course, with the sounds of the heart and the vibrations, it would basically tear the Proteus apart. So the scientists in the laboratory outside have to stop his heart. And that's a really very tense scene as they travel into his heart that's stopped. And they have to get through it as quickly as possible so they can restart his heart. And there's a similar scene later on where they're traveling in his eardrum. And of course, everybody outside has to be completely still because any sound they make reverberates inside his ear canal and can affect the progress of their ship. And that's quite a tense moment as well. It's just a great adventure film. I mean, it stars Stephen Boyd, Donald Pleasence, Edmund O'Brien, Raquel Welch, who of course was at this time hot from 1 Million Years BC, which came out around the same time. So she was like a major sex symbol of the period and remains so for some time. It's just a great adventure film. It rattles along. It gets very exciting towards the end when they get to this blood clot and one of them has to use a laser to blast it away. But meanwhile, one of the numbers has got other ideas and threatens to sabotage the whole mission. It's really good film. The visual effects are very good. You have to make allowances for when it was made, but really, it's not difficult to suspend your disbelief because the effects are still very good. Like I said, there's a couple of obvious green screen scenes and there's apparently a couple of scenes where you can see wires where the characters are suspended, where they're supposed to be floating through bodily fluids and things. But I didn't notice it, to be honest. But when you're watching a good film with a good story, I think you can sort of forget the effects and just getting taken in by the story because that's what counts at the end of the day. What I liked about the film is, well, it doesn't mess about. It's 100 minutes, I think. And when it ends, it ends. There's no massive coda to the film. I won't spoil the ending, but it just ends. And there's no continuation, no aftermath or anything. It's about these people going on a mission into a man's body, traveling through his body, and then it ends. And I think that's quite refreshing. And again, it's quite interesting to watch a film of that era where you don't have the hours and hours of endless credits that we get on films these days. You get the cast and then it ends. So that's Fantastic Voyage. It is a fantastic voyage. It's a great film. It's a great classic old science fiction. If you've never seen it, it's available on this here Blu-ray. You can get it on DVD too, and I'm sure it's available on streaming services. But don't ask me which one, because I don't know. Right, before I go, I just wanted to give a little update on this channel. I've done this before, and I've said this before. It seems to be very hard to make much headway with this channel. I'm still stuck on a certain number of subscribers, and I've had a few extra ones over the past few weeks, but the last couple of weeks it's stopped. And I've noticed that the last two videos that I put up for Eternals and Last Night in Soho are sluggish. The views are quite sluggish, and there's been nothing in the way of comments. I'm loath to give up the channel because I enjoy doing this. It's fun making videos, and it's fun chatting about these things because it's something I like to do. So I don't really want to stop, but if people aren't watching it, aren't enjoying it, and I look at other channels, and every time I look at certain channels, they've got dozens of new subscribers, and I don't quite know how it works. As I say, it may well be that I'm sort of late to the party and a bit older than many of the people who are doing these things, and watching me isn't an attractive proposition for people. And also possibly a lot of my videos may be gone a bit too long. I've noticed that some are like 20, 25 minutes. That's possibly a bit too long sometimes. So I'm going to try and restrict my videos, my review videos now to 10 minutes, 11 minutes tops. That might make people more amenable to stopping when they see them and having a look. But if you see 15, 20 minutes, perhaps people, sadly don't have the attention span these days. So I'm in a bit of limbo at the moment. Part of me thinks, it's not the filming. The filming is fun. It's the editing. And I try to do little bits and pieces with the editing in my own clumsy way. But that takes a while. And at the moment, I've got other things to be doing. As I've probably mentioned to you, I'm in the middle of a writing project at the moment that needs to be done by December. And part of me is saying, is this channel something I should be spending my time on when it doesn't seem to be reaching a lot of people? But I'm loath to stop it because I do have fun doing it. And it is quite nice when I get feedback from the few people who leave feedback, which is why I say, if you've stumbled across this video now and you think it's okay, press that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to watch the videos when they come up, but it'd just be nice to get a few more subscribers and a few comments and likes and things. That's what we do these things for. So anyway, that's where I am at the moment. I'm sort of, I'm in that limbo thinking, shall I, shan't I? I will give it another push. I'll keep going because I say it's fun to do and I don't really want to stop because I quite like doing this stuff. But if people aren't really watching and it's a bit half-hearted, then it doesn't seem a lot of point in pushing on. But we'll see how it goes anyway. I'm not going anywhere for the moment. I'm going to carry on for a bit because it's fun. Right, that's me for now. We've got more retro movie reviews to come. I've got my latest collectibles and pickups video to edit and put up shortly. And of course, there'll be another review from Doctor Who Flux tonight. So stay tuned for more stuff. Until I see you next time, you know what they say. You need to keep taking the stuff.